So I am sitting here at work. As some of you know, I've decided to go homeless and put every red cent that I can of my own into my Nepal mission. I recorded this a couple of times, but the owner of the company kept coming in and out. He's getting ready to do a few things for the weekend, and he had some boys with him, and it got noisy, so I had to re-record everything, which is fine. So I've decided to go homeless so that I can put my rent money into Nepal, mainly Nepal, India, and Haiti. But I just got done emailing some very important people that I received connection with last weekend in Nepal, and I'm hoping to be able to associate myself with them so that any large donations will actually be worthy of tax deduction. So I'm just looking over. I try and keep as up to date on the Nepal situation as humanly possible. And there are a lot of really good resources to do just that. I found a lot of scales that have been updated recently with the earthquake that happened in April, and the amount of damages, losses, and of the private and public sectors. With looking over these, there's a lot of decisions to be made with how to disperse any kind of donations that I receive. And I think that my main concern right now, after looking at all of these charts and statistics and everything, $50,000 is it's a good amount, but it's definitely not going to be able. It's going to spread thin over everything if I try and put funding into everything. So this week I've been trying to kind of narrow things down and check and see where everything is actually needed, and I've gotten quite a bit of that done. So if I am able to raise $50,000 to take with me to Nepal to buy materials and disperse the materials and not the funds, because that was actually my goal to begin with. That was the original plan, is to take the American money, turn it into rupees, go to Nepal and disperse the actual materials rather than the funds, to make sure that it's not going to things that it shouldn't be going to. I am looking, and the social sectors, I think the social sectors are going to be a lot of my main focus with any donations that I receive, because I am so tired. I'm so sorry. It's been a very long week. I'm putting a lot into this, guys. I really am. There's a lot that goes into a fundraiser, and I'm learning that quickly. But the social sectors, I think, is basically where I'm going to be putting a lot of the funds into. And the social sectors, meaning, this is going to sound silly, but tourism. Tourism is a very large part of Nepal, and that's where they're going to be getting their money from in the future. And that's where their money is going to be coming from in the future. You can give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or you can teach a man to fish and feed him for a lifetime. And that's basically why I'm focusing in on the tourism and the industries that are actually going to help keep the funds coming in for them, rather than just going and putting a whole bunch into things that aren't really necessary right now. Housing for private sector it's needed right now. I mean, the estimated damages, just damages on housing and human settlements, is $303,632 in damages. The losses themselves is $46,908. The private homes are only 1,394, and the public homes are, meaning like rentals and things like that, is 6,150 out of those numbers. So, knowing that people can struggle and survive and still survive. I don't think I'm going to be putting any funds into the private sectors, the private homes, as much as the public homes, because there's got to be an attitude of gratitude, right? And the private homes, it's very sad that they've lost that, but they do have the ability to live with the public and survive. So, with the housing and human settlements, I think I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the public housing. And for the social sectors, I'm going to be leaning a little bit more towards the tourism and industries that are actually going to keep populating funds for Nepal in the future. So tourism, they're expected to be losing $64 billion in tourism in the next 2 years because of the earthquake. It's a lot of money for Nepal to keep going, to keep living, to keep pushing on. So I'm going to be doing a little bit more research. I plan on leaving in 4 months is my estimated goal time. I should have all my paperwork done by then. I should have enough funds for my own expenses, because I am not taking any of the donation funds for my own expenses. I am covering that myself. And whatever donations that I do have in 4 months, I'll be taking with me to put towards these sectors. I'm looking down this list of disaster effects from the earthquake, and there's a lot to choose from. There really is a lot to choose from. And I'd like to be able to dispense any donations that I receive evenly across vital sectors that are going to keep Nepal functional for at least the next 2 years, so that they aren't losing as much as expected from the earthquake damages in the next 2 years. $64 billion is a lot of money, especially for a very small community. And that's just in Kathmandu alone, anyway. So that's not all of Nepal. That's Kathmandu. It only. The productive sectors and the social sectors, I think, are the largest sectors, according to everything that I've learned this week, that are really, really going to need a lot of work to keep things going. They have a much longer winter than the United States. Stateside, anyway. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to need housing, some sort of shelter, before winter hits. And so I really want to focus in on that. And the damages and losses of the housing in Nepal are substantial. Very substantial. I'm looking over the charts, as I'm talking to you guys right now, and yeah. The damages and losses they're expecting to be able to this, just the damages itself on the housing public sector is looking at $517,434. That's just in damages. It's $189,027 in losses. There's a lot of people that are on the street right now, and so to be living in a tent myself means nothing to me right now. With how many babies and how many children and how many elderly are out there right now living in blanket tents made out of blankets that were provided, a couple of days after the earthquake. Kathmandu has been affected quite a bit, but some of the smaller areas and communities around Kathmandu are a lot worse. And so when I get out there, I'm going to have to find, well, actually, I'm finding them now. My path is being built for me. And I'm being led in directions that I need to be in order to make a good enough impact out there that it's going to make some changes. So getting a hold of people now and getting out there and getting in touch with them personally, face to face, are going to be the key factors of getting the funds dispensed to the proper areas that need the most help. And I have quite a few things going on in my mind right now, and week two, a lot has come together in 2 weeks. A lot. And I'm getting more and more excited, more and more nervous, more and more grateful. Grateful is a good word to use. That I have had all of the connections and that I have God writing my path for me, because that's exactly what's happening right now. because I've never run a fundraiser before. I've never even considered doing anything like this big before. But I know that God is watching my back on this, and He's leading me in directions that I need to be in with the amount of people and the connections that I've gotten in just 2 weeks. It's coming together, and it's coming together very quickly. As far as information and as far as connections are concerned, and as far as counseling and guidance is concerned, it's coming together very quickly. Donations are slow. But I'm not worried. I'm really not. I was really concerned that I wouldn't even be able to do this. When I first got the idea, I was like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know the first thing about doing this. But things are coming together, so hopefully I can get a turn, and the tables will twist and turn for me, and there will be a lot more donations seen. I plan on donating quite a bit myself out of each paycheck that I get every 2 weeks. So the more that I see myself out there, the more it's coming clearer and clearer to me that this is actually possible. This is plausible. This is feasible. This is going to happen. It's already done. I can just consider it already done. Your donations are very, very much appreciated in this effort. I keep getting asked, why do I need to leave the country? Why do I need to focus there? Why not stay here and help the people that need help here? Because that's not what God wants me to do. God, for whatever the reason, wants me to go there. Maybe first. That's not to say that I'm not going to come back and help people here. But this is the way He is wanting it to run right this minute. Because if that wasn't the case, I wouldn't be shaking so many hands in the past 2 weeks with people that I need desperately for this. So I am very grateful for the donations already provided, and I will be very, very grateful for any additional assistance with donations in the future. There are 3 different ways to donate. You can go to my GoFundMe site, which I'll be tacking at the bottom or top of this feed. Hand donations. Right now, because I am non-tax deductible, nothing over $20, please. Until I am able to piggyback onto an organization, and I've got my fingers tightly crossed that I will get emails back in the next week from these connections that I got in Nepal, which will allow me to associate myself with them, and then I will become tax deductible. So You can GoFundMe. You can go to America First Credit Union and deposit into April Whipple charitable account. Or if you're local and you know me and you see me on a regular basis, you can always just hand it to me. And I will put it in the charitable account for you. I need to be very clear right now. Right now. This is not a vacation for me. I'm taking this very seriously, people. These funds are going exactly where I said that they are going to go. I have not touched them. Anything that I have actually deposited into that account is still in that account, and it's going to stay in that account until I'm ready to load the airplane and leave. I will be changing it to rupees and going. I won't go into how I'm transferring the money or anything like that, just for safety purposes, but it's already been worked out. There's going to come a time, ladies and gentlemen, where we're going to need the assistance. Here. Why would anyone if we never did?